Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we're in the middle of the train project. Today we want to focus on making this wheel right here. Now I want to point out a couple things on the wheel before we dive in. So we want the wheel to be able to attach with a peg right here. We also need it to have a way to attach to the linkage arm right here. And then finally we need this axis running right through the center of the wheel there. We're going to use that to sync everything up. Just briefly, I just saw my picture. Here we're in homecoming week. It's frat day, so that's why I get to be rocking the hat. Okay, so here's the drawing file I'm going to be going off of. Now that looks like a lot of information. We'll go step by step on this. So to start off with, if we're looking to build this wheel, we're going to build a new part file. So new, IPT, here we are. Let me slide this over so we can see everything. All right, the key to this build is we're actually going to build it with a revolution, which we haven't used yet so far. The reason we want to build it with a revolution, to get this nice curved, it could potentially be done with a fillet, but it's going to be a lot easier to kind of just build this profile right here, and then we're going to revolve it 360 degrees to make the entire wheel shape. So let's dive in. So we're going to start a sketch. It doesn't matter which plane you choose. I'm just choosing one randomly. So to start off with, I'm building this profile here. So let me throw a rectangle on. Any rectangle. I want to make sure I don't accidentally lock it to anything. That rectangle is just fine. Now, as I'm building this profile, see there's this little rectangle inside there, so I'm going to start that rectangle, something like that. Of course, we'll throw some dimensions here in a second. We also have this arc out here, so let me throw that arc on there. So with our arc tool, remember you go corner, corner, and something like that. There's the general profile of that. Now let's start to get some dimensions on here and make this kind of how we want it. All right, to start off with, I see from the center to kind of the top of where that rectangle goes, it's about 1 inch. So let me throw 1 inch on there. 1 inch. Great. Next, as I look over here, I see, where is it? I'm looking at this distance right here. From there to there, it tells me is 0.125 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that inch right here. 0.125. So there's that indentation. Next, as I look over here, I see that there's kind of this cutout here. That's this section here. This dimension tells me that's 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put this dimension to 1/2 inch, 0.5. All right, start to look like our profile here. Next, let's figure out what we need this to be. So I look back over here, and here I see that this radius is 0.125. So I'm going to grab this radius, 0.125. All right, that's good. Next, I want to look at this. How wide does this whole thing need to be? Looking over here, I see the wheel needs to be 1/4 inch. So let me grab this and set that to 1/4 inch. All right, we've got most of our dimensions. Looks like I just need this one and this one. Let me see if I can figure. All right, so I'm trying to figure out how far this part needs to be right here. I'm going over here. So it's this outer circle is what we're building right there. Here I see it has a diameter of 1/2 inch. And so if it has a diameter of 1/2 inch, and this is the radius because we're about to revolve this, I need to make this 1/4 inch. So let me grab from here to here. I'm going to change this to be 1/4 inch, 0.25. And now if this whole thing is 1 inch, this is 1/4 inch, this is 1/2 inch, well then this also needs to be 1/4 inch. And just to make sure everything's right, I'm going to double check that. Okay, here it gave me this message saying it's already 0.25. All right, so here's our profile. We can cut this out, or I think we can cut this out. It doesn't want me to cut it out. That's fine. We can still revolve it with that in here. So let me finish the sketch. We're going to go up to our revolve in our 3D model. Revolve. Select the profile you want. I want this whole profile. That's everything I want selected. Now over here I have to tell what axis. What do I want to revolve this around? So I select axis, and we want to revolve it here. So this is the center. Great. So there's my preview. That looks like I want it to. I'm going to hit OK. And we can pull in the view cube and get a nice look at it. That's the start of this piece here. Next, let's focus on, I'm going to put a hole right here in the center. So that's this hole right here. I can see it doesn't come out. It's just this hole here. And that hole looks to have a diameter of 0.25. So let's throw this hole in here. And we get a nice front view. So to do this, we're going to build a point there. It moved me over, so I just pushed on the wheel and drug it back over. So I'm going to throw a sketch right here. Now I want to know the exact center point. To get the exact center point, we can use this tool called Project Geometry. Oh, it didn't. Okay, now we're in a sketch. Now I'm going to use Project Geometry and click on the circle. Notice it highlights that point for me. So I'm going to go and grab the point tool and make that point. Great, that's all we need to do for the sketch. Now let me go to 3D model and tell it we need a hole right there. So a second ago we said we wanted this hole to have, we want this hole to have a diameter of 0.25. So if we want to have a diameter of 0.25 here, let's type in, oh great, it's already set. I want it to go all the way through our wheel, so that's okay. All right, let's zoom out and see how things are looking. Great. So now we see we have our full wheel. Let me go back to a nice view just by clicking the home button here. Next, I want to focus on this peg out here. That's where our linkage arm is going to attach to. So let me get a nice front view and zoom in a little bit. I want to throw this section right up here. So let's start another sketch. Select our surface. We want it right here. Circle. Now as I look down here, we see that right there, the center of this new circle is 0.75 from the center here. So I want to build this right here, and I'm just going to pull it out. We'll set some dimensions here in a second. Dimension, as I look down here, I see the diameter of this piece looks to be 0.25. So let me just set that 0.25. All right, we have that one. Next, I want to make sure my distance from the center to the center is 0.75. So I'm going to just slightly pull the cube up so that I can see that center point. Let me grab my dimension tool and measure. Right here, I went to grab the middle here. It wasn't showing that to me. So I'm going to go Project Geometry, click this circle, which kind of activates it. Back into dimension. Go from there to there. Okay, perfect. It says it was already there. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so we have that distance right. We have this. Now we're ready to extrude this to give it some depth there. So I can go up, extrude it. Now I need to come down here and see how far do we want this extruded. It is on the back plane right here. It's right here on that surface. So from here to here is an 1/8 of an inch, and there's another 1/8 of an inch. So in total, that extrusion is a 1/4 an inch. So let me change this. Oh, I need to tell it the profile. I'm select the profile we want. Oh, I don't want that whole thing. I just want this circle there. Back and extrude. I want it to go 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 inch. Select that circle. That looks great. So there's the start of that. Now we want to throw another little knob here that the linkage arm is actually going to go around. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to throw one more, this pin right there. So to do this, start another sketch. I want it right here. Let me center that for you guys. All right, so I want to throw a circle right in the middle of this. That's fine. Now let's figure out our dimensions. As I come over here and look at this pin, this itty bitty pin right here looks like it has a diameter of 1/8 of an inch. So let me set that to 1/8 of an inch, or 0.125. 0.125. Great. Okay, that's fine. So I can finish sketch, or you can go right into the 3D model since that's what I've going. The computer will let you do it either way. Let me extrude this. And I'm going to come down here. I'm going to notice that right here, that has a height of 0.125. So let me change that. 0.125. Great. Okay. That's looking as we need it to. Now we're just going to put a hole here so we can put a peg through there. Let me zoom in slightly. I'm just going to throw a hole right in the center of that. We'll start another sketch. Let me pull it back over here for you guys. So we want a hole right in the center. Now, because I lined mine up, it's right there for me. If yours isn't going to show, go ahead and do this Project Geometry. This is what allows the computer to activate things or show us. Notice when I click that, it showed me the center. I'm going to make a point here, right there in the center. Notice it turns green, so that point is set. Now we're just going to put a hole there. Let me go into 3D model. We're going to build a hole since I have that activated. Now the hole is way too big. Let me go all the way over here and notice that itty bitty hole there, that's its diameter. So that's a diameter of 1/16. So I'm going to just go over here and type in 1/16, or you could type that number in as well. Okay, great. So let me zoom out, have a look at this. That's looking like a pretty good wheel. So now we're almost done. We've built the whole wheel. The last step is we need this axis so that we can end up making these wheels all work together here when we do our assembly. So let me go back over here to our part. Alright, so here to build this axis through here, I'm going to start a new sketch. Select this surface. Now outside of it, I right-clicked and I'm going to select Slice Graphics. The Slice Graphics kind of shows us this inside view of if we cut it in half, that's right through the center there. Okay, and our goal is to create an axis that goes right through the center. So let me zoom in slightly. What I want to do is I'm going to make a point in the center of this circle, a point in the center of that circle, so that I can connect them so that we have that axis. So I'm going to use project geometry to tell the computer I want it to tell me the center of that circle. See that point comes there, and same thing there. Now I'm going to go grab my point tool, put a point there, notice it turns green, click, notice it turns green, click again. Alright, now there's 2 points in there. That's great. That's all we need for that sketch. So finish sketch. And now we just need to throw this axis in. To throw the axis in, we're here in 3D model. There's this axis right here. Now I'm going to use this drop down, and as you guys get more and more advanced in the software, these drop down menus start to be more helpful. So I'm going to go axis through 2 points. I want to connect those 2 points. Now watch out, don't just click right here. You might accidentally get the very front of the circle. I'm going to tilt my view cube slightly. Notice there's that green one at the front, and then there's this point we just made. It's actually on the inside. It's perfectly in the center. Those are the points we want. Not anything on the front, not anything on the back. We want this point there. Now I'm going to zoom out slightly. I'm going to pull it up. And now I need to go find that point I have right inside of there. Notice. All right, there's that point. Click. So now if I've done this right, that axis is perfectly through the center. It's not skewed off anyway. The wheel's symmetrical on both sides. Great, that's exactly what we're looking for. Last step, go ahead and choose whatever color you like here in the color menu. And then you have your wheel, and you can move on to the next step. Let's go red.